Not that often that Mercury goes into the heart of the sun and talks with the sun from his home exaltation kingdom of Virgo. It's happened a couple of years ago. It'll happen again in 2027. But when this is happening for us individually and collectively, it's good news. It means something powerful, something important will come out in our collective news cycle, something that we really need or want to hear, something that is good and something that is worth listening to. But then in our own lives, this particular day, September the 13th, allows for that kind of communion of Mercury, the messenger, with the divine intelligence of our solar system and this reality, the sun, headquarters, so to speak. And the messages he gets for us on September 13th individually will be extremely powerful, and it will apply to topics connected to the Virgo part of your natal chart, one whole sign house out of 12. Could be messages about your marriage, your career, your children, your creativity, your romantic life, your home, and where you live. So I really can't wait to talk about this today. We're going to be going into the in-depth dive for your sign. I also have a fun card we'll draw for you guys. It's the Crow deck, the Urban Crow. I'm looking forward to talking about it from this perspective as well as the astrology. Now, one of the things I would say is that Jeffrey Epstein's in the news lately. Well, he's dead, but everything about him is in the news lately. And I do think that this is going to have an impact on that story. I don't think people are going to get what they want, but some kind of disclosure or breakthrough in the news cycle regarding this particular very challenging story where all of these survivors of his, sex trafficking operation women have been doing the news circuit asking for the government to release more files. And of course, it's very possible that that's not going to happen the way we'd like, but I am very hopeful that something good is trying to happen. And I'll show you why. I'm going to show you a picture of the sky. Did you know that when somebody passes away, and I don't care if it's a famous person or someone you love, that their natal chart keeps on going as if they're alive? Now, where that would matter, say, is if a famous, person has passed, like Jeffrey Epstein in 2019, that even though he's no longer here, his chart acts as if he is. So we're going to show you why I think he was definitely working for an intelligence agency, that when he died of a hanging episode in the hospital, in the prison, that's exactly in his chart. I'm going to briefly spend 5 minutes showing you that amazing thing. It does suggest he worked for an intelligence agency connected to the Middle East. I'll show you that in the chart. I'm trying to avoid getting banned here on YouTube. And I also would like to say, in your own life, your mom, your dad, your relatives, anyone you love passes away. What I like about using the chart of the person, although they're no longer alive, and you need their birth time to make this happen accurately, is that you can also see when they're close to you, like when there's inbound, if they're available for inbound messages or supporting you from the other side, in whatever way they do as guiding spirits after they've passed. We can often see that in the chart of that person relative to our own chart, as if they were still with us, and what the transits in the sky and what other techniques show us is really happening. So that's something that most people don't talk about in astrology, but I used to be a medium, professionally talking to dead people in my 30s, among other things. And that is why I thought I'd let you guys know that. So we're going to look at Epstein's chart briefly, but we're more talking about you. I'm going to go through 12 signs. This video is recorded on September the 8th. And if you're new here, welcome. This is my channel. I'm Lori Lothian. This is Western Tropical Zodiac Astrology. This is not sidereal or Vedic. I also would like you to know that I'm teaching my 6-year Sky Reader. It's a 6 weeks live course with me, 4 guest teachers for relocation astrology, zodiacal releasing grand aspects in the chart, and Sabian symbols on top of my weekly course material, on top of 3 bonus modules I'm giving you from my platform, like finding people in your chart, or Chiron, the key to purpose, or elemental wisdom for time in your life. So there's a lot of this content. It's ridiculously well priced for how much content you get. You get weekly Q&A calls with me, get a Discord group or Facebook group to join to meet other students. It's a very intense 6 interactive weeks with me and other astrology people. If you want to come check it out, check the description box below and I'll pin it in the comments. I had a discount code called SKY20 for 20% off the very affordable tuition. And if you would like to still use that code, I've kept it up for one more week till the 14th of September, because I got so many emails. I'm recording on September 8th. It expired at midnight yesterday. on Sunday, and I woke up to like 3 or 4 or 5 emails with people going, I missed the deadline. Oh my God. And I really want to take your course. And I thought, okay, let's just make it simple. Economic hardship is out there. We'll keep the code active for 20% off until midnight on September the 14th. And that's your last chance. So come join me. It's a fun group and I love teaching. And I've got astrological moderators helping me out, other astrology professionals who have been in courses with me and are now practicing astrologers. So you'll have some support, a little bit of support in the Facebook group. But the intention of that is to meet other astrologers. This is not a course to certify you. It's to be your own astrologer and time your best life, not to start doing professional readings, because that would be me teaching you for a year. All right. And then I'd be certifying you and you'd be having a test. This is to start learning how to read your own chart. Sorry. Oh, don't even ask what just happened. All right. So let's get going. Let's look at your sign. Check out my Patreon community, check out my Substack column, check out everything about me. All the description box information is below this video. I'm having microphone angling issues. My microphone keeps wanting to sort of move by itself. I have no idea why. Sorry about that. That's a rock. Let's go ahead. Let's look at your story. But first of all, a quick dip into the Jeffrey Epstein storyline. Now, one of the things I want to mention here about Jeffrey Epstein is, of course, as I said, he has passed away. But there's another thing I can share about him. There's a lot of speculation that he was really being a run as an asset for an intelligence agency or two, and that everything about his setup with cameras, etc., had a lot to do with basically honey traps and blackmail or extortion for people who are participating in his universe of underage females and trafficking them. And because of that, I'll show you one thing and then I'll show you another. I don't want to spend too much time here. Don't worry, we will get to your sign. They will be timestamped if you're catching it in the premiere. I know a lot of you just want me to get to the main event, but the way I look at it is life is made out of world events and our individual stories. So here we have it. This is a sky. This is ostensibly his chart. For some reason, I thought he was born at 3:15. I thought I should have had a little bit of a different ascendant, but whatever. Not to worry about the degree of the ascendant. I thought his ascendant was 2 degrees Sag. So let's just account for a small variation. I'll go double check in a minute. This chart might be slightly off. This is Israel. This is the asteroid for Israel on the Chironic wound and Mercury, intelligence, news, information, right? Being an asset. And you'll notice the Chironic wound in the second house, which can be a death house, just so you know. This is a wound with the nation of Israel and the intelligence house in the house of speech, right? You're giving information that is in this kind of slippery place where it is very suspicious that quite probably he was working with such an agency. All righty, just going to say it like I see it. I'm saying it like I see it. You'll also notice the asteroid America across the way with the planet Uranus. So there, even though Uranus in America are opposite Israel, Chiron, and the chatter of Mercury, well, I wouldn't say that it's an asteroid America opposite, that it's a coincidence. Some people said maybe he worked for the intelligence agency, right? The other 3-letter agency that belongs to the United States. I'm not too sure about that. This oppositional energy means he was telling secrets against the United States, not for the United States. In other words, he wasn't working on behest of the US. He's working with the nation of Israel against the interests of the United States, hypothetically, right? This is astrology. He died when he was 66 years old in prison of a supposed hanging. And by his own hand, I believe it was a hanging. But anyway, over here is the 66th age. And that age is ruled by Mercury. And then we would look at Mercury, like, how did he die? Why did he die? What were the conditions of his death? We would ask that question, right? And right away we go, well, it has something to do with the nation of Israel conjunct Mercury. So with the Chironic wound here. And he comes by his orgiastic nature. He comes by that with good credentials, and it doesn't surprise me. So let me show you that particular story. That's not him. Give me a minute. There we go. Yeah, his ascendant's at 1 degree. The last chart was just off a titch. Don't even sweat it, you know? So you'll notice that he has his sun and he has Bacchus together in the house of things one wants to ingest, one wants to put in one's mouth. By the way, this is the house of the face and throat, right? And of course, that's where Israel sits. And he was undone. He was undone by a hanging. 1953. That's what I've got wrong. Let me fix that for you guys. I don't know why I've got 1952 here. Edit the chart. He was born in 1953. That's why the ascendants are at different times. Calculate and update. No, I think that's the right one. Okay, but back to the same story. The sun is tracking with Bacchus. Bacchus is the energetic signature for something to do with, orgies, ecstatic states of consciousness, but losing oneself to some kind of orgiastic delight. And, to me, that it doesn't surprise me. That makes sense. I mean, does it not make sense to you guys? So there's a story about why the things that he was about happening, things that were happening in his life were happening. Sorry about that first chart having a slightly wrong showing here, but anyway, that's what we've got. And lastly, this is interesting. This is a very interesting Aphodus. I'm going to say this was a centaur who got really out of control in the Centaur Wars stories and went on a spree of sexual misconduct, okay? It was a spree of the R word, okay? I'm not allowed to say the R word here on YouTube. So a spree of the R word, and it's with his midheaven or his reputation. So he has got this reputation. It does connect to sort of, inappropriate sexual activity. On we go. So there you got it. I'm not going to do much more about this. I'm going to just pause the recording. I'm not too sure why. I'm going to go double check the astro.com for a sec and make sure that the two line up, and I'll be right back. And then make sure that the other chart was accurate where the nation of Israel set as well. But I'm pretty sure I didn't screw that up either, but let me double check. Oh, well, the mystery is solved. The Astro.com software put it Brooklyn, Alabama. So that's why we had a 9-degree Sagittarius instead of a 2-degree. I fixed it. It's 2-degree Sag is his rising sign. And when he died, there were eclipses going through both Capricorn, Cancer in 2018, migrating from his second to his 8th house of secrets and activating all the turbulence of his legal fights as he got basically caught. And then I think they actually started moving through his ascendant Sagittarius part of the sky as well around the time it was passing. Often that can be true when you have these kinds of eclipses that activate the self-axis as well. So one thing I wanted to mention about it is, like, even though he's no longer here, and so we're not thinking about him personally, we're just thinking about the fallout from him. This is what I meant by where I think this is coming back into the storyline. As you all know, Mercury, as I said, on September 13th at 20 degrees of Virgo, will come into the heart of the sun and meet with the sun, called a Gazimi. And that's going to happen right up here on Jeffrey Epstein's high noon midheaven. And it's going to activate this whole story of his reputation connected to misconduct and rampant misconduct regarding sexual relations. So that whole Mercury Kazemi on his midheaven at 20 degrees of Virgo will be a news story breaking, most likely on the 20th, about the Epstein files. And on the 13th of September. Now, nothing really breaks on a Saturday. So it could be Friday, right? Friday the 12th, Saturday the 13th, maybe even Sunday the 14th. Look for some breaking news stories about this situation. I would so not be surprised if that was to occur. Jupiter, the Lord of Justice, is moving now through Cancer, which is his 8th house of secrets, could expel the secrets with justice and shock and awe stories. This little asteroid here is Rhadamanthus, the punisher of he was a king that Hades let be like the punisher of people in the underworld who had done bad deeds in life. And now Jupiter, the Lord of Justice, since he died, has not been moving through his 8th house of secrets and death. So we've got a Jupiter transit waking that up. The North Node is expanding his Venus exalted secrets in the 4th house as well. And that little guy over here, that's Volcano. So volcanic explosive revelations around the stories that are connected to Jeffrey Epstein. And I could go on and on. There are other things there. We're not going to. What we're going to do next is we're going to talk about your sign. But my world prediction is that will amplify the Epstein story. And it will also amplify stories to do with Benjamin Netanyahu, the leadership of Israel, and the nation of Lebanon. Those are all very strong Virgo placements, and we can expect major activity in that regard. Also, Donald Trump has a strong connection to this story as well. He's ruled by Mercury. His sun is in Gemini. When Mercury is in this great dignity going into its, into the heart of the sun, right? That's going to impact someone like Donald Trump, who's in the collective, sphere. Like we're always thinking about Trump. What's he going to do next? What's going on with Trump? And it does trine his midheaven, which could be good for him. It could actually open up something positive for Trump instead of something calamitous. But it comes off of Trump's second house of speech. So look for Donald Trump to speak something into the world, announce something on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday this week, or on the 12th, 13th, and 14th that should be favorable for Trump's reputation. Maybe there is a solution on the table for the Ukraine-Russia story. Who knows what it is? Okay, so let's go ahead and let's do your sign. We'll get rid of creepy Jeffrey Epstein, who was an intelligence asset, no doubt about that. No proof yet, highly suspected by almost everybody. Just like everybody knew that it was a lab leak during the pandemic, everybody knows that he's an intelligence asset. So there you go. All right. Here we have, we're not going to start with Leos, and it's a big hot mess of asteroids. So just ignore that. And we're going to put in recently used transits. I'm there. And we're going to go back in time and start with Aries. Now, I will mention one thing. Remember, I said that this is not that common. Like you're not going to have Mercury in the heart of the sun, like this, a superior conjunction that often. That's true. You're not. And so then there's a quality of how we might enjoy the rarity of this event. So I will say to you, just if you want to grab a pen or paper, the last time you saw this and the next time you will, this might be some useful information for some of you. And I'll tell you what that is. So basically, we saw Mercury in the heart of the sun on the superior conjunction, not retrograde, from direct motion on the other side of the sun from Earth, okay? Not between Earth and sun, but on the other side of the sun. We saw him here September the 6th, 2023. Individually and collectively, something in your life could be similar, but nothing is ever the same. But that was the last time Mercury came into the heart of the sun, and it was exactly at 13 degrees of Virgo. This time it's going to be at 20. And by the way, the Sabian symbol for 20 degrees of Virgo, because it rounds up to 21, is a girls' basketball team. Just yet another explanation of why the Epstein story will come out, right? Because all the girls that are now teaming up as women to try to get their justice served. And then also in 2025, we're having it on September 13th at 20 degrees and 54 minutes of Virgo. And then we're going to see it again August 27th of 2026. So there you go. That's just when it's happening before, when it's happening next. And then we're going to go ahead and talk about your sign. So here we have Aries sun, Aries moon, Aries rising sign. So Aries people, I am one of you. Sun and moon is an Aries. And I just want to say, if you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please do. It does help the channel grow. And I've got a lot of content here, guys, including your September 2025 individual 30-minute forecast for your sign. So please make sure you check everything out on my channel. So if you're an Aries, and we don't need the ascendant in here, it's just going to be like, goodbye. This was for the Epstein files. All right. So it's going to happen over here. We don't need to worry about this. This is behind Mercury. See, Mercury's ahead of the RAP guy, RAP, the bad word, right? And that's Mercury coming past that story, and he's going to deliver some news. So this is where we are before we get to the Cazimi. It's behind him. That's Pandora's box, the ills of the world befalling humanity. That's pretty close to Benjamin Netanyahu's midheaven. And we can certainly see the ills of the world falling from his gnarly fingertips. Okay, if I ever saw a Darth Vader in our time frame, he's that. So that's in the past. Mercury will disclose information about those world stories as he targets that sun on September 12th. The exact moment of this, FYI, is around 7:49 p.m. Pacific Daily Time. It'll be near midnight, of course, 11 p.m. if you live in, the eastern seaboard of the U.S., and it'll be earlier in the morning in England and all of that. This is a Cazimi that you can use. You could harness it by sending out important emails, where you could send out something that, launch a project, talk to someone, have that important conversation, send that critical text message, launch something on your website, all of that. It's really powerful for that energy, and it's positive. And some people say, well, Mercury's combust and damaged before that. No, he's not actually combust the sun in the ancient tradition. He's protected in his chariot because he's in his own kingdom. So he's not particularly weak before he gets to this, but then he's super powered when he gets to the sun. He's purifying and he's getting the deep truths we all need to see as he burns up in the sun to be reborn again. Okay, so right now he's coming into the beams of the sun and he'll be born again on the other side of the sun. And the other side of the sun will make him an evening star. We'll see him in the evening. Okay, so let's talk about Aries and this story. It is a deep, profound revelation about the following things, and it should be positive. A health matter. Goodness gracious. This week, I've got a dermatology appointment just to check a mole out. Hopefully, this good news. The mole looks normal. If she wanted to do a scraping, she'd say, okay, got the result. No big deal. But I'm just telling you. So it could be some kind of information or news or revelation around a health challenge. It could be about a work situation, a job. It could be an opportunity for a rental property, especially with Jupiter sextiling from the 4th house. You know, what property are you going to rent now? It could be a new possibility for information or news coming to you as positive about a pet or for a new pet. And ultimately, this is also good for debt elimination. If there's been some kind of financial debt, this Kazemi does sextile the good goddess of contracts in the house of finances, banks, mortgages, loans. And so there's a nice possibility, especially with Jupiter's help, this is going to form a beautiful flowing energy to eliminate some financial debt. Indebtedness can be remedied under a circumstance like this. And so I'm giving you a few possibilities. It's just a day-long story, but it's a positive story. Don't worry about Saturn retrograde. He's in his inward mode right now. Retrograde, he doesn't really crush it outwardly. He's just hanging there. We'll be doing a more depth diving into that when we talk about the solar eclipse for part 2 video coming out on my channel. Yes, coming out of my channel closer to the eclipse. I already have one eclipse video out on that. I'm going to dive into the Saturn opposition for the second one. The other one covers the finger of God, and that's already out. So I'm going to bring you to the card deck that we're using today, which is the Urban Crow. Isn't that a great deck? The Urban Crow Oracle and Guidebook by MJ Cullinane or whatever. And I just got this as well. It's one of my new decks. I love crows. I'm a crow girl. And it's a 1-word delineation with a small, short write-up. But how can we, Aries, sun, moon, and rising? Sun is career and purpose. Moon is your home and home nest. Rising is you and the simulation and anything about you. I don't like when cards fall out. So I'm not a card faller out girl. So I'm not going to do that one. And if it comes back at me, then I'll count it. Okay. What is the message for us? Woo! Okay, these cards are so new that they don't spread out. They don't, you know, very, very well. Okay, so I got a weird one for us. I got play, number 36. I wasn't thinking that would show up. When I think about play, I think about, well, Mercury likes to laugh and he's very full of mischief. I'll give you that much. But I often think of play connected to the 5th house storylines. And indeed, that's kind of a surprise. But we're going to go with it because there might be something I'm not seeing in the astrology that suggests there's a spirit of play. He does sextile jolly Jupiter in your 4th house, right? So we've got that. Let's see what the play is about for us. Card number, and you know, the other card was freedom that fell on the floor. So I'll give you both play and freedom because I should have probably let it ride, right? Play. Crows are not always so serious. They enjoy the company of friends and spend their time engaging in play. So when this card comes into your life, it's time to relax, exercise your creativity and maybe your body and play. Now take the brain offline a bit. Okay. It really goes into staying in states of play, and you can discover solutions to problems that may have been eluding us. Okay, so I like that. Venus is in the 5th house, and she's like, know your limit, play within it. Not a bad time to win a lottery, by the way, for some of us, as Venus is still in Leo, right? So that's a good story for you. But then if I was to get the freedom card just because it fell on the floor, maybe I should have honored it. I do think with Mercury here, for anyone dealing with debts, challenges with their finances, or even elements of struggle regarding property and where they live, especially if it's a rental or financing around properties. This can be very much about being free from those problems if you have those problems. Of course, now that I put the card back, I don't know where freedom is. Oh, thank God it's alphabetical. Bless her soul. Bless her soul. And guys, I'm at the end of my day. I decided to record this anyway on Monday to get ahead of it. I'm quite busy these days. Freedom. All right. Freedom. brings the message that you do not need to stay where you are and you can change your position, rise up, see the world from a different viewpoint. You have the wings. All you need is the desire and the self-confidence to fly. So it talks about expanding your horizons, freedom to travel, freedom to make decisions at work. It is a work house as well. Remember, job and work news or information can be very positive for you. And you may need to ask yourself questions: in which area of your life, fellow Aries, would you like to expand your freedom? What is your definition of freedom? My definition of freedom is not working so hard all of the time as the hardest working astrologer on YouTube to save money for retirement. How does that sound? Okay. So how do you guys define freedom? And of course, we get 2 cards, freedom and play. It is the end of the day. I've got the weirdest light because the sun is setting through my blind. So I do look kind of weird, actually. I'm just saying, I can see the lighting is odd. Moving into the next story. What about Taurus? Okay, Mercury in the heart of the sun. No one's going to complain about the positivity in his home kingdom of what news or information or good things can happen. Now, this is a very fun house in terms of winning money and earning money, like winning money, gaming, speculation, lotteries. Mercury is the ballot guy, the ticket. So it's definitely okay to go purchase a lottery ticket around this time, for a draw near or on the 13th of September for a Taurus. Now, good news coming through the sky, good information about a romantic lover, about a child, about an entrepreneurial business project or endeavor, and some positive news. Sextiles Jupiter in the 3rd house, good news for your children around education or travel, or something positive to do with a business and local business in particular, and good news for you. Jupiter is in the house of a sibling, one younger, good news about or from a sibling, one younger, and or your children, maybe on the 13th. Remember, you're going to feel this on, Friday and Saturday and Sunday, right? It's not just a day. It's that time frame. One other element here is that Juno, the goddess of contractual agreements, is hooked up to that Jupiter, and this makes a beautiful energy flow. There may be some kind of agreement, some kind of handshake, some kind of contract to do with business, online world, things to do with travel and romance and agreements that show up out of the blue, maybe, because every time we have a gazemi, we don't really see it coming. We're not sure, we're not expecting it. It's very fated and destined, of course, with the South Node here. And ultimately, I'd say that it's a house of good fortune. So this is fortunate information, good fortunate news coming your way as a result of this cazimi. Mercury does rule your house of money, and there's a shock or surprise over here as well. Maybe a good money surprise coming your way close to the 12th, 13th, or 14th. Let's see what happens. Let's grab a card for you guys. You guys are so helpful and so supportive of me. Thank you. Everyone told me how to get rid of center stage, and I took all of your advice. And now I'm no longer moving around like in woozy with my camera tracking in my every breath. And a lot of people gave me health advice for various things that I've been dealing with. So right now I'm still working on this shoulder is like 80% better from what it was like 2.5 months ago, right? It's my own injury there. Football injury, but it's still not 100% better. I know that. I'm still working on it, and I'm terrified of physiotherapists because twice I went to physios. Terrible results, made me way worse than I was. And I'm like, okay. And I mean, seriously injured me. Okay. I'm afraid of them. Okay. So if you have any suggestions, it's just more like, it's not the shoulder hurts all the time. I'll be moving the shoulder and it goes into like almost like the tendon makes a cracking sound. This is 26. It's insight. Ooh, look at that. I love that image. Insight. Well, Mercury is insight. He's trining you from the 5th house. No matter what you say, it can't be too bad. He does provide insight about, your neighbors, your neighborhood, your businesses, your entrepreneur stuff, your creativity, your children. Crows and ravens are problem solvers. They make tools and they learn from each action. And this, okay, so in the crow, you see the crow dropping rocks into the water. And after testing a couple of rocks, the crow understands the relationship between the stones and the water. It learned that with each rock, the water would rise and be buoyant, and the buoyant shrimp would rise too. So that's very cool. So insight asks that you take time to examine your situation right now, like on the cazimi. Examine it. Test out different strategies to gain wisdom. Jupiter is the wisdom guy flowing to this Cazimi, especially regarding matters of local environment and emails, phone calls, and text messages. When you understand the relationship between all contributing factors, you'll be able to identify the actions that yield little benefit or remove obstacles that may have been in your way, and in turn apply strategies that can expedite success. Okay, so I think like it's saying you could have a strategic insight of some sort coming for you Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Now, if you are a Gemini, you are ruled by Mercury. So this is important for you. And he does this, not that often. Right now, it's been like 23 and we'll be in 2027. Watch the intro. But here we go. Mercury in the heart of the sun in Gemini as your ruler. He's very strong here. And this is your fourth house of homeland, property, and real estate. This is also what you do in and from the home. And there's news about your childhood or of origins, information about your mom, if your mom's still with us or not, or information or new understandings or insights about childhood itself, growing up, all of that. Now, Mercury, the news messenger here in the fourth house, is literally often going to deliver some kind of news or insight about property, about where you live, about your domicile, like your home, right? And he does rule you. So he's going to bring you something you need, especially with the moon, which categorically means home or mother, connected to shock and awe. So you might have some unexpected news about mother, insights about mother, or it's surprising information about your home. Now, I do like that shocks you. I do like Jupiter in the house of resources, money, earnings, and possessions, guiding that, looking at that Mercury very tightly. And so this is something positive that could be financially lucrative for you, that may be coming through maybe with a bit of a surprise. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it may be because of something you're writing, communicating, speaking, or doing in and from the home, but it can literally be about money, possessions, and home. And with Juno, contracts and agreements that are specifically connected to rentals. So if any of you are thinking of having a rental agreement, there may be some auspicious opportunity to lease your own property or rent a new home. Also, contractual agreements connected to your work, business partnerships connected to your work and office space, also connected to the fourth house, a new opportunity to work from home, a new job that takes you into a new home, a home-based opportunity that moves you in your job environment. And again, a lot of auspicious flow on the money front and the resources front from lucky Jupiter in your second house. Let's draw a card for you, Geminis, going through this very positive experience of Mercury Cazimi. So I have a progressed Gemini sun, and in September of 2023, when this last happened, within a month or two, I got a new offer. Did it happen on the day of? I'd have to go back and look. My girlfriend kept saying, I've got a place where you can rent. You got to go check it out. And she was always emailing me about it. And I followed through a couple months later. And that was my 2-year rental that you guys used to see in my background. So the Cazimi, though, should produce some news or information really, really proximate to the event. So Friday, Saturday, or Sunday memory. Now, that doesn't surprise me because the fourth house is your childhood. And so there's a lot going on here with the mind, Mercury in the fourth house of childhood. And with Jupiter blessing it, it could help you break some karmic patterns as well. So childhood lessons, you might have a deep dream or insight. Mercury will stream messages that help you bust through some kind of pattern that you have that holds you back in life. Crows never forget a friend or a foe. I didn't know that. I knew that they always cawed at me after I moved from a place. I find the crow following me 2 blocks over, and I know I could see it was my crow because my crow had like really raggedy tail feathers. They remember me. When they spot a predator or a known human who has been less than kind, they go into frenzy, calling out danger is near. My crows loved me. I fed them good food. They spread the word about good stuff too, such as people who tend to share their lunch or places where food is discarded often. What's remarkable is they pass down the memory of their experiences to their young. I didn't know that. As complex as these birds are, forgiveness does not seem likely. Memory asks you to examine areas where you may be letting a past hurt or situation impact how you engage with someone today. Are you cautious or holding a grudge? Do you expect others to behave in a certain way because of your past behaviors? Now, I just say this may be a very strong dream or insight or hearing from someone from your childhood or your hometown, literally a phone call or text, but it's going to be very profoundly healing of energies to do with where you live, but also your memories of life, your childhood, where you grew up and who you grew up with. All right, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising, Mercury coming into the Sun's heart, coming through that, September 12th, 13th, 14th timeframe. What do you want to do with this baby? You want to get that phone call, text message, or email written and sent, or you're going to receive it. This is a very media house, communications house, right? We often get engaged in all of the ways we technologically communicate with people here, but youth is also your local neighbors, your neighborhood, a sibling just one younger than you. This is any information or news that comes about or from those people. You are Jupiter, you are blessing the situation. You have magnanimous, generous, good luck vibes, and you're flowing to that Mercury and supporting whatever this is for. And Juno in the 5th house, goodness gracious, this is the goddess herself of agreements. And you can make an agreement with a child, with Mars here. Maybe a child's getting ready to leave the nest, but you can make an agreement with a child, a romantic love partner, or it could even be an agreement with a sibling or a neighbor. And it just looks like a very positive type of situation. I need to do something here. I've been sitting here all day long, and it's almost like I need to put something hard on my desk seat. Like my glute is not liking the soft seat. I don't know. It's a little bit late to figure that out right with you guys in a live session, isn't it? I'll figure that out for my next long day of recording. And lastly, I would say social media itself is the 3rd house. If you're highly engaged in social media, then you could have some new insights, a breakthrough, something positive, something lucrative happening in your social media landscape on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 12th, 13th, 14th. Got a lot of destiny with it, right? With the South Node here. So now my whole apartment's like a fucking hot box. Whew. Like seriously warm in here. And it is like, guys, you got to be kidding, so hot. I can't pretend I didn't get upheaval. Okay, I'm not even going to read the card. I'm really not. But, if you're going to get upheaval, it's upheaval regarding a child, a sibling, one younger, something in the neighborhood, but it's all going to work out. And why will it work out? I'll tell you, it's going to work out because of Jupiter. You've got the upper hand and the moral justice and high road and all the goodness you need to get that thing done. So you might feel intuitively something's about to happen, and you might feel the energy coming at you, and it might be kind of something you're anticipating, but it's all about being able to regain your composure and go with the upheaval in a flowing way. I'm not too worried about you going with the upheaval in a flowing way. I really am not. Let me put my fan on. And the reason I'm not worried about this upheaval is because Jupiter's in your sign. But if it's anybody, it's a kid, a lover, a neighbor, or a younger sibling, one under you, where you see this like information or news that feels a little bit upheaval-like, but because of the flow from Alt Lord Jupiter, it's all going to work out. You've got all of the tools to take that upheaval and make lemonade from any lemons that are being tossed at you already. Oh, I'm so warm, guys. All right, Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. It's a money place here. This is your finances, okay? And the energy here, maybe you've been worried about money, South Node, thinking you're not making enough, you're spending too much, it's going out of your hands somehow. That could be a story here, right? Expenses, Jupiter is increasing your expenses, especially if expenses are connected to children. Jupiter rules your house to children or romantic love partners, right? So you've got some worry there. This should be a good news day. For some of you, Leos, this should be opening up positivity financially, a good bit of information or news that allows you to make better decisions about conserving money and handling money and structuring it better. Also, because of the fact that you've got a contractual 4th house energy, you may be making a contractual agreement regarding property, land, and real estate. This could be about buying, selling, leasing, or renting. And for some of you, that might be something that you've been thinking of doing for a while, and you're going to act on it. One of the things I like about this is you could rent a room out in the house, you could rent your whole property, or you could rent a new home. those are all possibilities just because Saturn, Lord of the rental area, is witnessing the story over here as well. This could also be something connected to some difficulties with the health of a pet. Alrighty. And I'm not going to go into why. And if there is any difficulties with the health of a pet, there could be some definitive information or news coming through that allows you to make decisions about what to do with that situation with an animal in your life. An agreement maybe being formed among people in the house about how to handle something with a pet, maybe having some challenges to its health, that kind of thing. Now, what I want to do is I want to give you a card right now for this story. And don't forget, this is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's exact on the 13th, but I would bracket a day on either side. Depends on your time zone, of course, right? Well, we know it's about communication. For goodness sakes, it's Mercury. Caw, caw, caw. Okay, any kind of communication, but it should be about money. Mercury is in the house of speech, major conversations going on with people who live with you in your home, making you agreements about that situation with people in your home that live with you. That's another way of positioning the story. She talks about a brave one crow that would always come talk to her and go caw, caw, caw outside her sliding door and wait for its handout. So she was talking about communication with that crow. She talks about communication brings a message to speak up. And that is true. Mercury is in your house of speech. If there's something you need to speak up about with somebody in your home, right, this is the time to do it. That, 13th would be auspicious. Get clear on what you want so there are no misunderstandings or confusions later. Communication can point to a situation on an earthly level. It can indicate you need to be clear with what you want when communicating with people or your spirit guides or higher self as well. Are you being vague or are you asking for exactly what you want? That's a great question. Sometimes we don't ask for what we want. We beat around the damn bush. I do it. I'm a conflict avoidant. I don't know. There's my daughter asking me what this pitch. She's got to have a photo for her. She's doing a presentation at work and there's a beautiful picture of her. And she asked me if it's appropriate for the headshot. I'm going, my God, it is. Oh, young people, they're so, she's only 26. Yeah, I look back at that time in my life. I moved to New York and I was at my first magazine editing job in Chelsea. And I thought the world was my oyster. And I was so delighted with reality. Here we have Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You are ruled by Mercury, guys. And so you got to know this one, right? It is literally your Lord of your sign, exalted in your sign, home kingdom exaltation, guiding you. Virgo, you can't go wrong. You had a bit of help from him like in September of 23. It'll be back in the fall of 27. This is going to be very important. This for you will be a major insight. You could have a dream at night. You could have an idea, or you could have some thought or some new understanding that's very powerful on the 13th. But you may also be making some significant communications on that day, and you're communicating extremely well. I love this so much for you. And because you have Jupiter in the house of career gains, it could be asking for a raise, a promotion, getting that for interview for something that's going to accelerate your success financially, connected to a career path. So this is good for the career story as well. I do really like this for a lot of you. So it could be to, take the interview, it could be to advocate, speak for what it is you want, send that message or email, but whatever. Jupiter said, we're going to try to get you more financial gain. Could be a very positive conversation with a friend or someone in your social networks. It's going to yield something very delightful for you. And then we have this idea of Juno. She wants to make a deal, sign it on the dotted line, an agreement. If you have any work situations that connect to local establishment places where you go to the office, this could be a new deal, a new offer, a new negotiation, and new terms of service that looks really positive for you. And if it's not that, then it could also be some really positive developments connected to your social media landscape, agreements, business partnerships, or even a travel opportunity that comes out of the blue to travel with an ally, friend, benefactor, or sibling one older. And you might find on this weekend as well, because it's really kind of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that you are able to really speak clearly about something with your long-term committed love partner across the way. If you have one, okay. If you don't worry about it. The day of really coming to some maybe new understanding or agreement with that person in a very solid and lasting way. For you've been tested by Saturn in the 7th house of long-term love since March of 23. And this is the end of your testing time. So yeah, commitment, because it is your 7th house of long-term committed business and love relationships. Okay. You might have to recommit to a contract at work, commit to your boss, commit to the job agreements, but commit to the relationship. There may be some conversations that are about really solidifying a commitment. You have a strong strength. You have not, I say an upper hand, that's a little bit too much, but you have strength here. You are able to communicate successfully what it is you need to say to some other person on Saturday, but you can start Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Nature photography, I'm not going to read that. Okay. Examine areas in which you've entered into an obligation or a commitment. Are you ready to put in the work if needed? Are you willing to sacrifice to ensure that you stay true to your word? It's a goal. If it is a goal you are committed to seeing through to completion, are you willing to offer your time and resources to that person, that situation, that job offer, that job commitment? Think about the commitments you have made. Do they raise your vibration just thinking about them, or do you feel a heaviness associated with the situation? Of course, we all have our moments of feeling less than enthusiastic, but the question you may need to consider is if your moments of angst and resentment outweigh the love and support your commitment brings to the situation. Okay, guys, let me know what goes on in your stories, especially for those of you in relationships. Could be a very big turning point, and it should be positive. And if you have to say something harsh, that's okay too. Just speak your truth. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. I need to stretch. Aha. Give me a minute. Oh, only for Libras who need balance in their work life am I taking a calf stretch exercise moment. I've been sitting at my desk working on multiple projects today, and I am tired of sitting at my desk. So let me try this. Let me put my binder on my chair and see if I can get a different. Oh, that feels better. A different hardness level under my butt. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. Go for it, guys. Mercury is going to give you nighttime dreams. I love this placement. This is one of the placements where he tends to come into your subconscious. It comes into nighttime dreams, meditations, reveries, downloads, past life regressions, or whatever you're up to. It really is Mercury coming into you sideways from a subtle direction. And so this is exciting. And this is where you're really should be like, it's like the still small voice within may have a major message for you. Now, don't forget, you might be able to remember, September of 23, the exact date I gave you earlier, maybe September 13th, maybe of 2023. No, that's this time around, maybe September 22nd. But the point isn't that. I mean, the sky is different every time. This is not going to be felt by you unless you listen, right? You got to pick up the damn phone, pay attention to your dreams, listen to the inner voice. There could be some news or communications about somebody in a hospital setting. That could happen. You hear from the warden of the warden of the prison, the hospital nurse, or something about a situation involving hospitals. So someone in your life could be going through some challenges with their health. That's a possibility. Jupiter's witnessing this from your 10th house. He's loving you up in the career space till next July. He's giving you lots of success and expansion over the next 2 years in your career. So go for it. But he's also saying it could be about father figures as well, hospital settings. And also Jupiter up here wants to bless you from backroom deals and negotiations that favor you for more success in your career, especially if your career is from an international company, far off land or shore, or you make money from international clients. Now, interesting, you've got this commitment of Juno here, and there could be a new job commitment, Juno, Jupiter, some kind of contract or agreement coming your way regarding earnings, resources, money, and career. And this could just be those backroom deals and negotiations going on behind the scenes that somebody is advancing you to a new level and talking good about you in the office or in the organization. If you have that, or even if you're self-employed, you're getting a lot of backroom support for more success. People are talking about you as if you're the next best things in sliced bread. Oh my God, my eyes in the sun are not liking the sun because it's like I feel like I'm looking at the sunset. You know what I mean? It's right in my face. Okay, so you got the communication card, and it's the same card we just read. not too far back ago, two back ago. I'm not going to read it again. I'm really not, because it's going to be talking about listening to and communicating and the value of communication. This communication could be about work and money, and asking you to really go into your own inner knowing in the solitude and silence for you to figure out what it is you want to communicate to a boss, Jupiter in the higher up, someone in authority above you in the career, or even to your own potential for great success, and how you need to communicate things in order to allow for greater financial success connected to career and money and earnings. You may even get a communication from a far offshore, distant land person who lives far away, and that's going to be positive in the area of money and career. And someone will complain that you got a shorter set of information than everyone else. It probably is true, but my butt is hurting. So you'll have to wait for next video, which I'll go extra long on you. All right, Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. Mercury in the heart of the sun in the house of good spirit. This is positive information or news coming from a sibling, one older, maybe friends and benefactors and allies, or something about career success and more money, especially with Venus here, raises, promotions, increase, positive things in that area as well. Jupiter flows to this and blesses it. Maybe human resources loves you up. Maybe it's good news about friendship and travel, higher educational opportunities as well. Hearing from a friend that wants to give you some positive financial blessing up here with Jupiter. It could be anything like that. You might want to make an agreement or a contract, and it may involve work, and it may involve also the word international, human resources, far off lands, visas, and there may be some agreements being formed here. And Mercury would be like the contractual negotiations and the fine print. Literally, you might be asked to really look at some fine print agreements, like you might want to sign on the old dotted line, etc. If that comes up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you're going to do fine. You have a strength here. Otherwise, pick up the phone if the older sibling calls, pick up the phone or that text message if a friend is texting you, because they're only going to offer you things that are really, really good. And some of you, Jupiter says, let's go for a trip to a far off the shore with a good friend. What a great opportunity. Let's go traveling. And you want to agree to that. Okay, it's so great for you. You could also win legally in a court case if it involves some kind of situation with marriage, and you're going to find yourself doing well. Curiosity. Ooh, well, we know what that means. Curiosity. Mercury is naturally curious. Okay, it's going to interesting deck to try to work with on this one. Let's see what it says. We know crows are curious, right? Curiosity indicates you are just scratching the surface. Possibilities are vaster, Scorpios, than you are currently seeing. However, you need to get inquisitive. When you start asking questions, the path will start to unfold. When curiosity appears, you will be better served by putting aside your emotions and thinking like a researcher. Well, it looks like somebody could be looking at some opportunities for some career advancement as well with the Venus story. So be curious, ask questions, make sure you have all the information you need. Because the place where Mercury is where you have your hopes and dreams and wishes fulfilled or not, right? And I like that for you. So up here, or what's coming at you that you like. Stay curious. Let's go into the next sign, which is Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising. Hey, Saggies, 10th house, Mercury. It's about your career. It's about your social standing and reputation. I mean, I'm just going to say, so some Sag dissed me about September, saying they didn't like the reading. I'm just giving you everything I see, good and bad. Just want to point out, I mean, you got, the moon, shock and awe over here in significant marriage type relationships. So there can be some information coming into the public sphere where you or your spouse or somebody are announcing something about the relationship, like letting it go, releasing it, surrendering it, just for some Sag, just not all of you, of course. You could also be having some big announcements regarding letting go or releasing a position at work or a career position of some sort. And those are all possibilities too. If you have an elder father figure, some interesting news may come for them, maybe about health challenging situations with an elder grandparent, male or elder male father figure, and some health challenges and some information news around the 12th, 13th, 14th. Jupiter blesses it from the house of inheritance. Yes, for some of you, there could be some money from the family of origin. The North Node can do that here with Jupiter. And there may be information that some money may be coming to you, etc. That could show up this weekend. Finally, one thing about Juno back here is what agreements are being cobbled together, what vows are being made behind the scenes. And this kind of maybe makes me think about agreements and contracts to do with ailing and aging elders in your family system, maybe most likely male in this kind of chart. Like, is it time to put dad or granddad into an assisted living home? Is it time to get power of attorneys worked out? Those kinds of things could show up in this kind of sky. All said and done, though, is still good news or good information or good ideas that support greater success for you in your career, especially with sign-on bonuses, chunks of money, severance packages, performance review awards, money coming in. Let's get a card for you from the Crow deck. Okay, come on, Crow deck. You got to span out a little bit better than you are because you guys are sticky. They're brand new and they're sticky. They're sticky and they're not like holding together. I mean, like I can't separate. Oh, soar. Well, that doesn't surprise me. The 10th house is high noon, right? How high can you go? Soar. So it does want you to soar. 46. To some height. Have the confidence to fly. Get up even when your wings get up. Open your wings and feel supported. A supportive wind carry you to your destination. There are no obstacles in your way. Now is the time to move. Conjure up your courage, take action. Soaring brings a rush of energy and a needed rush of energy and an open channel to receive the information needed to progress quickly. You're going to get information. As I said, it's 10th house story. So keep that in mind to include your career. It's in this space that blocks are removed and events flow beautifully as you sail on towards success. All right. Moving into last 3 signs. I'm ready to get up and make a dinner. If you are listening and you haven't hit the like button, subscribe, shared, commented, shared with friends and family, hit your notification bell, or any of the fun things you can do to support my channel, I'd appreciate that so very much. This channel is here because you guys are part of it. So without your support, I don't have a channel. Oh, there goes the mic tipping over by itself. Okay. Sorry, guys. The mic is all off as well. New tip note to file. Don't start a video like at almost 5 p.m. in my own time zone. So the thing I want to mention here is that this is flowing in a beautiful trine to your Capricorn sun, moon, or rising. And it's from the lucky Lakshmi house, which brings wealth and prosperity and goodness. And so all said and done, I can't imagine you don't like this. Good news coming from a sibling. If it is a sibling too older than you, information or news coming from an academic setting, a university, a guru, an ashram, a human resources department, a court and legal matter. This is information news coming your way. And that is welcome, and is establishing a opening for opportunities for you. And Jupiter says it's also good in connections to business partners, significant others like gurus or spiritual teachers, and some news like, oh my God, I applied to go to the ashram, and I heard that on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I got in. Or something to do with your significant long-term marriage partner and positive developments in their life connected to themes of publishing, communicating, writing, publishing, traveling, legal court matters for someone in your life, significant other. Jupiter could bring it into that story as well. Finally, what about this contractual agreements? That could be something to do with work agreements in order to profit from a career path, but maybe the opportunities are coming from far off lands, foreign shores, and distant places, as Mercury is up at the 9th house of foreign lands, right? Jupiter rules the house of distant shores as well. So some of you might be coming into some growth opportunities or career opportunities or openings regarding more prosperity. But again, is it international or is it in a far offshore? Those are possibilities for you as well. And I do want to say, with this guy, Mercury rules your house of job or work. So a lot of this could translate into work and opportunities connected to work. Let's draw a card from the deck and see what we get. Okay, one fell on the ground and I pulled one out. Oh, I can't read 2 of them. So we're going to do both. Nature. Spend some time in nature, guys. That's because you're a Cappy. You probably need it. The other one is growth, the one I pulled out. Oops, growth. Go to the ashram in the woods, right? Find some nature if you're going to do spiritual stuff. 23 is growth. I can see growth because, of course, Jupiter is involved. So what's going to grow? Whatever Jupiter touches, your spiritual life, your spiritual beliefs, your wisdom, your enlightenment. 23, growth. Growth directs your attention to areas of your life that become remarkably different as a result of gaining a skill. That's your ninth house in a way. It's your dharma, or understanding that you did not possess the past, or an understanding that you did not possess in the past. For example, learning a new language. Yes, the foreign house, ninth house may have opened a door to new opportunities. Developing understanding of your triggers that lead to sabotaging behaviors or habits can help you overcome a block that once created stagnation. Stimming, this is stimming with my hair. You may pull this card if you are on the cusp of a growth spurt. Ooh, as change will move your life in a new direction. It is approaching. Yay. So I stim because I'm autistic and I'm now at, I'm not what I call it like overwhelmed, but I'm ready for food and relaxation. So I apologize if I'm jittery. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. I am one of you. I'm rising. Mercury is going to deliver some information here. Don't forget, there is an eclipse coming here on the 21st. But before that, on September 13th, the day or before and after, he wants to hand you some knowledge, some information, some kind of insight. But because it's the eighth house, it's subtle. Okay. Now, this is a classic dead people in your dreams come talking to you. I've had 2 dead people dreams in my life already in the last week. And they're visitations, right? My mom and one of my best friends. So this is now such a depth of precision that you might expect Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to be riddled with dreams of the dead, or have signs and synchronicities like feathers and balloons or whatever yours are, that your dead loved ones are watching over you. This also could open up some information or understanding or news around taxes, accounting, chunky money, and it should be positive. Jupiter is in the work house. This is open and debts. It could help you eliminate a debt, pay off a debt. This is Jupiter saying, like, let me help you out with things that are connected to work and service and financial positive news. And also, I like that you have some agreements in the house of your reputation and in the house of your work and your career. So that can be a new career contract or agreement. It doesn't matter if you're self-employed. It's like, there's some kind of contractual business partnership, alliance, agreement, partnership, maybe connected to a way for more money to flow to you in unearned income or shared resources, where you're not hustling all the time. Mercury does rule your house with Uranus and winning money. So there's a possibility, not a probability, but there is a nice little energetic here that could say you could come into some money as well. That would be one option. But in me, it's not the most obvious for me, but it is a possibility. I would say mostly pay attention to your inner life. The emotion, enlightenment, you could be enlightened here. You could have an insight or download from inside, a dream, a meditation. It would be kind of good for magic if you were a good magician, if you knew what you were doing. You could do some talismanic magic with that Mercury sun here. South Node is to be careful with it, though, right? And the eclipse is coming. We're in the eclipse portal. So unless you're an adept magician, I'd be cautious. You need to look at the dignity of your natal Mercury as well. But all said and done, it's that kind of sky. And Jupiter's really trying to lend a hand here, and he does own your house of earnings. So there could be some really positive financial news or developments Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Let's pull a card for my fellow Aquarians. If there's a secret, house of secrets, if there's a secret about something you need to know, whatever it is, secrets can be spilled Friday, Saturday, Sunday, memory. It's another person had that. That's about the past. That's about not getting caught in memory. Crows never forget. If you feed them, they remember you forever. If you're mean to them, remember you forever. The card talks about forgiving places in the past where you've harmed others, allowing self-forgiveness, forgiving situations, and remembering the past. Now, I'm not going to read this card again. I did it for another sign, so I just told you what it was about. But I also would say Mercury rules the mind, and thus he rules memory. And from the 8th house, he flows to the house of childhood and the 12th house of past lives. So some of you might be dredging up a lot of memories from your life coming through this Kazemi energy on the weekend. So most exact on Saturday. So pay attention to what thoughts and memories come to you. Because when I said secrets can be revealed in this kind of chart for positive reasons, in a good way, secrets about mom and dad, especially family of origin, children, childhood stories, family members from childhood may emerge. And you might be welcoming the information. It may be like the one secret you needed to know, the one thing from the past that you needed to know now. So pay attention to see what happens with that energy. OMG, let's do the last sign, but the best and always best, Pisces. So what the heck, right? It's in your marriage house. Let me tell you one thing: marriage, business partners, audience, clients, trolls, public. It may not be about you. Information, news coming for your partner in their life that is very fortunate. That could be that. Or your partner says, I'm pregnant. Or you have to tell your partner you're pregnant, Jupiter in your 5th house. Some kind of information around fertility and children, and or news about your children and your partner. Information is there. I would also say agreements in the house of labor and grandchildren. Here are a few thoughts. Information news that you're going to become a grandparent. Information news that somebody's pregnant, and yes, we're going to keep that baby. We're going all the way to labor and delivery up in that 9th house. Or there could be some winning money here. This is Jupiter in the house of lottery wins. You got to go with it. And there can be some unexpected financial gains with Juno in the Lakshmi luck house as well. But it may come through a partner in business or love that they've got some kind of windfall and they're dispensing the good news your way. You could also have a very important conversation with a significant other. This would be a pivotal yet positive conversation. It may have to do with energies from the past that you guys haven't resolved, past lives or past times together. And there needs to be some accounting. And that conversation may be initiated by the person in your life rather than you. So that was how I would look at that. It's not the classic find a new love story. So don't think of it that way. I'm talking about those of you who have existing relationships. An encounter with an other person and a major important conversation of some sort. This is a house of the sibling 3 older than you. So you'd be the 4th born, right? And there may be major news, information, or conversations with that sibling. Mercury rules the house of your childhood. There's some unexpected shock here. So there's something I would open up as a possibility of hearing from a sibling, a couple older than you. Sorry, 3 older. So you're the fourth youngest. And that's what I got for you. Whew. And now I am not just a little bit hungry. I'm going to go get some brie. I'm going to digest a bunch of cheese so that I can move on with my day. All right. Well, my night right now on September the 8th. And, September the 8th is funny because I kept thinking that my shopping cart for Sky Reader closed today. I thought today was the 7th. I woke up this morning and realized it was the day after my Sky Reader Sky Code 20 closed. And I thought, oh no. Abundance. Well, of course. Do I have to read it? I guess I will. But abundance is because Jupiter from the house of good fortune flows to Mercury, the god of commerce and information news. And this is the first card of the deck. And I did say Lakshmi wealth house as well. You became abundantly pregnant, abundantly grandparented, parenting, abundantly, financially successful from this. The crows on one side, I'm not going to read the crow story. Abundance brings a reminder that there is a place where you too will find a myriad of possibilities. Focus your energy and your attention on not what you lack, but what you know is out there waiting for you. Let your intuition be your guide. Abundance may appear if you need a reminder that from your current position, you might not see what is out there waiting for you. Of course, most of the time, this card represents a positive outcome. However, because these crows can be a bit cheeky, the meaning could very well indicate an abundance of something less favorable, such as an abundance of water in your basement. No, I don't think so. And this is because Jupiter's in the house of good fortune, a real story of goodness, and it should involve some abundance of joy, inspiration, enthusiasm, creativity, financial monies, etc. More babies or grandbabies on the way. Thanks for listening. I usually have an outro. Quite often I have an outro. I don't have an outro today. I didn't plan for it. Let me think about the latest thing that I could, synchronicity or something cool that happened to me. No, I saw it. It's about this week, and there's a Pitta or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. In Vedic astrology, this couple of weeks between the eclipses is a time when the dead are really close to us. And it's a portal, basically, and just happens this time to be accompanied by eclipses, which intensify it. It's like when the veil is thin between us and our ancestors, and I include my friends in that. And it's interesting that it happens to time out with the eclipses here, which happens to be true roughly every 18 years, but exactly these 2 weeks between the lunar and solar eclipse. So to me, so the 8th to the 21st, it's like Halloween in the Western tradition, right? Samhain, oh my God, the veil is thin. So in the tradition of Indian astrology and culture, this is where our loved ones passed away ancestrally, and maybe we didn't even know them. Great grandparents can reach out to us. And I would encourage each of us to think about how the portals of energy opened up now from the Pisces eclipse behind us and the Virgo eclipse coming up, right? We're in the in-between now. Is a great time for that. And I've already had 2 visitation dreams in the last 4 days, one from a girlfriend who passed away, my age, and one from my mom. So welcome your inner knowing, pay attention to your dreams, look for the feathers and the rocks and the signs that you know your loved one is near, the songs they love to listen to, you hear them on the radio. Let's share some of our stories about that next video or in the comments, because I'm not the only one. I've heard other friends who are saying they feel like they're getting a lot of spirit visitation right now. So the outro is pay attention. We're in a window, Mercury on the Cazimi for the whole of us could be like what do you call it? Intercom to the afterlife. All right. Take care, everyone. I'll see you in the next video, which will be coming out on Sunday.